I'm Olivia. Today I'm going to talk about when thinking becomes procrastination. If you can't watch the video right now, just keep listening closely because the real value is in the insights. So let's start with a question. Have you ever had a week where you felt incredibly busy, but at the end of it, you hadn't actually produced anything? You spent hours researching the perfect workout plan, but never went to the gym. You created detailed spreadsheets for your new business idea, but never made the first sales call. You outlined your novel in exquisite detail, but never wrote the first chapter. You feel mentally exhausted, as if you've been working non-stop, but the progress bar on your life hasn't moved an inch. What if I told you that this intense thinking isn't a step towards action, but a sophisticated defense mechanism against it? What if all that analysis and planning is just procrastination in a business suit? Today, we are going to expose one of the most insidious productivity traps there is: the overthinking trap. We'll understand why your brain prefers the safety of planning over the risk of doing, and I'll give you 3 practical, science-backed tools to break free from analysis paralysis and finally start making real, tangible progress. So what is the overthinking trap? At its core, it's a fear-based avoidance strategy that provides the illusion of control. When a task or a goal feels big and scary, the outcome is uncertain. Taking action means stepping into that uncertainty. It means risking imperfection, criticism, and potential failure. Instead of moving forward, your mind creates endless scenarios, analyzing every possible outcome. It feels productive because you're working on the problem, but in reality, you're just delaying the uncomfortable leap into action. Overthinking disguises itself as preparation, but it quietly steals your time, energy, and confidence. For your brain, which is wired for safety and predictability, this risk feels like a threat. So, it comes up with a brilliant plan. Let's just think about it a little more. Let's create a perfect plan. Let's research every possible outcome. If we can control every variable in our minds, then we can't fail. This feels incredibly productive. You're making lists, reading articles, comparing options. You're busy. But it's a counterfeit productivity. It's what I call productive procrastination. You are doing work about the work to avoid doing the actual work. The one scary step that involves vulnerability and the risk of not being perfect. This trap manifests in several ways, but most of us get caught in one of 3 common patterns. First, there's rumination, which is being stuck in the past. This is when your mind endlessly replays past events, conversations, and mistakes. I should have said this. Why did I do that? If only I had made a different choice. Rumination feels like you're trying to solve the past, but in reality, you're just spinning your wheels in a mud of regret and self-criticism. It drains your mental energy and keeps you from focusing on the present and the future, where real change is possible. Second, and most common for our topic, is analysis paralysis, which is being stuck in the future. This is the state of being so overwhelmed by research and planning that you become incapable of making a decision. You spend weeks trying to choose the perfect laptop, the perfect online course, the perfect business strategy. You believe that if you just gather one more piece of information, the choice will become clear and risk-free. But the opposite happens. The more information you gather, the more confused and paralyzed you become, until the project dies from a lack of action. And third, there's choice overload, which is being stuck in the present. This is a modern form of paralysis caused by having too many options. We believe that more choices are better, but psychologically, it's the opposite. When faced with 50 different types of protein powder, the fear of making the wrong choice is so great that it becomes easier to make no choice at all. We overthink the small, reversible decisions of life as if they were permanent and life-altering, wasting precious mental energy that could be spent on things that truly matter. Recognizing these patterns is the first step. The next is to use the right tools to break free. Tool number 1, the 2-minute action rule. This is the ultimate cure for analysis paralysis. The goal is to short-circuit your overthinking brain by taking a tiny, physical action. Overthinking lives in your head. Action lives in the real world. Here's the rule. Whatever you are overthinking, what is the smallest possible physical action you can take in the next 2 minutes to move it forward? If you're overthinking a workout plan, the action is do 10 push-ups, squats, or another exercise right now. If you're overthinking starting a business, the action is draft 1 email to a potential contact. You don't even have to send it, just draft it. If you're overthinking writing an article, the action is open a document and write 1 single terrible sentence. This action is not about getting a result. It's about proving to your brain that action is possible. It breaks the spell of the mental loop and shows your brain that the world doesn't end when you move from planning to doing. It's a powerful shift from, I need to figure this all out, to, I just need to do the next small thing. Tool number 2, the decision deadline. This tool is for choice overload. When you have too many options, you need to impose a constraint. The most valuable constraint is time. Here's the rule. Give yourself a strict and often ridiculously short time limit to make a reversible decision. A reversible decision is any choice that is not permanent or catastrophic. And guess what? 99% of our decisions are reversible. 1. Choosing a restaurant? You have 60 seconds. 2. Choosing an online course? I will do 30 minutes of research, and by the end of today, I will have enrolled in one. 3. Choosing a color for your website? Decide in 5 minutes. The goal is to value progress over perfection. Choosing a good enough option and moving forward is infinitely better than being stuck in the paralysis of searching for a mythical perfect option. You can always adjust and correct your course later, but you can't steer a parked car. Tool number 3, the brain dump. This is the best weapon against rumination, that endless loop of worries about the past. You need to get those thoughts out of your head. Here's the rule. When you feel your mind spinning, take out a piece of paper. Set a timer for 10 minutes. And for those 10 minutes, write down every single thought, worry, and fear that comes into your head. Don't censor it. Don't organize it. Just dump it all onto the page. This simple act does 2 magical things. First, it externalizes the thoughts. They are no longer a terrifying storm inside your head, but just words on a page, which immediately makes them feel smaller and more manageable. Second, it shows you how repetitive and often irrational the thought loops are. It breaks the cycle and clears your mental cache, allowing you to refocus on what's in front of you. Thinking is a powerful tool, but like any tool, it can be misused. Overthinking is when you use a hammer to analyze a screw. It's the wrong tool for the job. It feels like work, but it just damages the project. The profound truth is this. Clarity does not come from more thinking. Clarity comes from action. You don't think your way to a more confident self. You act your way into a new way of thinking. The antidote to the fear of failure is not a perfect plan. It's the data you collect from taking a small, imperfect step. Stop waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. It doesn't exist. The only way to break free from the overthinking trap is to take one tiny step right now. What's one thing you've been overthinking? And what is the 2-minute action you can take today? Share it in the comments. And if you're ready to move from thinking to doing, make sure you subscribe.